Welcome back, guys. And as promised, we have professional sports photographer Jaylynn Nash on with us. So welcome, Jaylynn.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
So before we get into anything serious, I just want to give you time to, plug yourself, plug your socials, let everybody know where they can find you and take a look at your amazing work.
Well, thank you. Well, thanks for finding me and having me
Of
on this
course.
podcast. Makes me feel so amazing. So my name's Jaylynn, and my Instagram is at photography_by_Jaylynn, and then my portfolio website is www.jaylynnash, so JAYLYNNNASH.com. And I've been photographing for 10 plus years, and I've been doing pro sports, colleges, all of that in the sports era for 8 plus years. So very thankful, super thankful for the clients, and it's all across the board. I'm sure we're going to talk about it, but that's
Oh,
just kind of how
sure.
you find me. And then I guess I do have a TikTok, which
Yes.
is Jaylynn and then Nash on it, or it's Jaylynn Nash. So
No worries. Yeah, that's actually where I found you
yeah,
scrolling through TikTok, and seeing some content that you put out there. And then I traveled over to Instagram to actually look at your photos and follow you over there. And it's amazing work. I mean,
thank
Yeah,
you.
it's just
yeah.
awesome. It's
I
awesome.
I don't do TikTok.
Yeah.
I use it only for business. So.
Zach's trying to get me into TikTok. I like watching some of the videos, but it's not me. Instagram, I just restarted my Instagram for the first time in like 5 years, so I'm just starting to redo that. But I see, like Zach said, I looked into like your profile and your pictures. It's quite amazing, some of the photos that you take. Like, it's crazy.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, let's get into it. I mean, from the research that I did, you graduated from Minnesota State University. And correct me if I'm wrong, with a double major in graphic design and photography and a minor in marketing. Does that sound right?
Yep. Yeah, good job. Yeah.
Woohoo! Look at me being a sleuth. So, tell us about your time in college and what it's like to pursue a major like that.
Yeah, so I started shooting pro sports. I was 19, which is actually super young to
Yeah.
start in the pro field. A lot of kids do it like post grad, but I actually was a sophomore and I was already started working in pro sports. So I was at Mankato, which is about an hour and a half from the cities of Minneapolis and St. Paul. And I'm originally from South Dakota. That's where I
Okay.
was born. And then I went to college in Mankato. And I didn't know anybody when I went to college, didn't know anybody when I moved to North Carolina. But yeah, I had started when I was 19. I had an internship with the NBA and WNBA, so that's kind of started
Wow.
right into that. There's a longer story with that if we want to get into the details, but so I was a full-time student, and then I also had 2 internships and 3 jobs, so to pay for everything and be able, and I was traveling back and forth to games, and I got to go to the Twins games and cover them, and then the Wild, and lots and lots of hockey, so which I absolutely adore. So that
That's
was a
amazing.
lot of fun and super amazing opportunities. But yeah, I started with the NBA, so I started with Timberwolves, and then I was with the Lynx for their winning season. So yeah, so I was pretty
What
young. Oh, go ahead.
what made you okay? So when you like, were you always into photography? Was like that your
Yeah,
thing?
yeah. So I've actually been shooting since I was 9. I started on film. My parents actually, so I did start like the old fashioned way that everybody talks about. So I started on film when I was 9.
Oh
So that's
wow.
kind of where like the 10 plus years, because I'm 26 now. So that's kind of where the 10 plus years came in. But yeah, I started when I was 9 on film. And then my parents did buy me my first digital camera, but every camera since then I have bought. So yeah. And
Oh,
everything I own, I bought with my own money, everything like that. My parents may have helped me with like a little like on camera light, but then I ended up surpassing it and needing
Yeah.
something more advanced.
sure,
So
sure.
yeah, so I worked for everything, worked for my money, didn't know anybody, made all my connections and networking.
Wow.
Obviously with help along the way and people who had trained me. But yeah.
And then with okay, so you've always done that. What made you want to go to Minnesota State? Like, did they have like the ultimate like photography?
No.
Or
My job like and like what I work in actually doesn't exist in Mankato. I think it existed after I left because I
Oh,
think
so
I've
you
had somebody
trailblazed.
reach
There
out
you
to me.
she
go.
started it. She
There you
started
Yeah,
it.
so
go.
nobody really knew what I was doing. I would, like I said, I was going to class and then I'd go and leave and I'd go shoot a game and then I'd come back when I was of age and I was like at the bars or something like that and the game was replaying and I'm like on TV and people are like, "Isn't that you?" And I was
That's
like, yeah,
awesome.
that's what I
That's
thought
so
about. Like,
cool.
yeah. So my college didn't actually have any of that. I think it was, I am an only child, but my parents helped raise some people in our family. And I have, I'm like one of 29 grandkids on one side, and
Wow.
three-fourths of them are guys. So I think it was just kind of that, and that like me and my dad are very, very close. So we obviously bond over sports and anything of that nature. And he's the art guy in our family. So I got
Okay.
the art side from him, and then more like the organized, analytical type side I got from my mom. She's not
Okay.
artist at all. So the sports the sports aspect, since I was 9, I have always told myself, I wanted to be a photographer, which is crazy to think that I did go to college for what I wanted to do and that I
Yeah.
still
Sure.
pursue what I wanted to do, which is pretty rare. But yeah, when I was younger, my parents and I, I've always told my parents I wanted to be a full-time photographer, and I had to figure out a way to do that to make a living. And weddings are beautiful and nice, and I do cover weddings and I do shoot for brands and lifestyle. I do that as well, and I have some amazing clients with that. But I
There's
wanted a way to
nothing
make,
like what you're in.
yeah, I
That's
wanted a way to be
awesome.
able to make money that just wasn't weddings, if that makes
Yeah.
Sure.
sense.
Yeah,
There's
for
Weddings are
sure.
nothing. Yeah.
stressful.
There's
Sports are
nothing like
stressful
what you're in.
too. Yeah, sports are stressful too, but like that's only for a couple hours.
Yeah,
Weddings
but the
are like an
experience you're
entire
in,
day.
the experience
Yeah,
you're
I have the
in with
best seat in the
sports
house.
is just like
For
the
sure.
people you get to meet and the connections
Yeah.
and just the atmosphere, and you get to see a free game.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. I get the best seat in the house, and it is a rarity being a woman in sports too. So when I started, I was one of the only ones, and I still am like one of the only ones in some of the places that I'm at, and I'm just kind of used to it, but you go with it. But yeah, I definitely have the best seat in the house, and
That's awesome.
sometimes your parents get to reap the benefits of that. So it's been pretty cool.
Sure.
I
Sure. I'm
bet.
sure they
I
love it.
bet.
Yeah.
They do. Yep, they
That's
do.
awesome. So talk to me. I mean, how did you, while you were a sophomore in college, how did
Yeah.
you get into, like, what did you reach out? Did somebody reach out to you? Kind of how did that process start?
Yeah, so I actually had because my major is graphic design and photography with a minor
Sure,
in
sure.
marketing. So when I was 19, I ended up getting a paid internship with a printing company. It's called Taylor Corporation. Shout out to them,
Okay.
they're still amazing.
There you go.
Anyway, that guy is also the owner of, he owns a printing company, and then he also owns a bunch of other stuff, but he owns the Timberwolves.
Oh,
So
Oh,
okay.
awesome.
I I had seen like, I'd gone to the games, and then I put two and two together, and I had talked to my boss, and they had told me how to do this reach out to set up pretty much an interview for me to be an intern. So then so my internship helped me get an internship, which I had both of them at the same
Okay.
and I had both of them at the same time, and I'm still very close with everybody. So
That's
that's what's
awesome.
pretty cool to this day. But yeah, so I went to this like meetup that I didn't really realize was an interview, to be exact. Actually, I should say I didn't know it was an interview, but I went to the meetup, and I happened to be with a photographer for the Timberwolves at the time. And he's still there, but and he had offered me an internship on the spot. So I kind of just got the internship right when I met him. I had no idea it was like type of interview type thing.
Sure.
So I started with the Timberwolves, and then he also photographs the links, and there's another photographer with him too, and I'm very close with them. Like I said, actually, I just talked to them like 2 days ago. Um,
There you go.
and so then I was with the Lynx for their winning season, which was in 2013.
Right.
And then I was with the Timberwolves again. So I was kind of there. Ironically, I started when Andrew Wiggins started, so I just count how many years
Hey.
sort of kind of by Andrew Wiggins. So him and
Fair
Yeah.
Zach
enough.
Levine, I just kind of use them for my timeline. So thanks,
That's a
guys.
good way to
And
do it,
then
though.
yeah, because yep, we all started at the same time. So I was like, oh great, this helps me out. And then I was there for KG's comeback, and then it was insane being 19 and seeing like LeBron James, and I get to photograph.
Sure.
But obviously I wasn't as good as I am now.
Hey, you gotta start
So
somewhere.
yeah, I'm not as good as I am now. So I was just kind of like, it would be cool to go back and try and re-photograph some of those guys. But yeah, that's where
Sure.
it started. And then all the other pro sports, I'm very thankful. I was just kind of recommended, or people invited me. I was recommended, or sorry, my phone went off. I recommended, or people invited me to different events, such as like the Twins photographer, he invited me, the Wild. and some guys there. And then I ended up making connections, and everybody just kind of kept inviting me to stuff and nurturing me and teaching me.
That's
And I'm
so
still
cool.
very close with them today. So that's kind of how it just like it started somewhere, but it kept expanding to me getting invited
Yeah.
to other sports.
That's
awesome.
That's great, and that's actually a perfect segue for the next question we got for you. So is it like, are you freelance? Are you contracted? Do they just reach out to you, or do you reach out to them? Like,
What a loaded question.
Okay.
Um,
I didn't realize that was what I typed it up. All
I
right.
know. No, most people don't. Most people don't. So I am freelance and contracted. But
Okay.
I do have some main clients that are kind of main clients that I do shoot for on the regular, I guess, so to say, as of now. That can
Yeah.
always change.
Okay.
But I am contracted and it's to like a certain time, but at the end, they can always renew it. So
Mhm.
I'm freelance. And so if any visiting team comes in and they need a photographer, they can hit me up. But yeah, some of the clients I do shoot for on the regular, and then if a visiting team comes and they need somebody, I can get called into that. I shoot for many different clients, which I'm super thankful for, and I can talk about them too,
That's
if you wanted
awesome.
to know. But
Yeah,
yeah, I can
of
talk about
course.
them too. But yeah, so like from time to time, I'm super thankful. I shoot for the Canes, the Carolina Hurricanes. I've been doing that.
Okay.
That was a dream. In 2019 when they went to the playoffs, I'm so thankful that I got to photograph directly for them, and I was
That's awesome.
24 at the time, so that's like a dream come true for
I'm
Sure.
guessing
anybody
that's your favorite
to
team.
shoot. I don't have play favorites because I go where they pay me.
Well
Ah,
played.
no, I don't
Well
want to hear that. I don't
played.
want to hear that. You gotta go with your work, but you always have a favorite.
Her
Well, I
favorite is
started with the
whoever's writing the
Wild.
check.
Yes.
That's
I just,
smart.
I go wherever they pay me. I'm especially
Smart.
down here in North Carolina, I'm super neutral because I'm very thankful as well. I do, like I said, I do shoot for the Canes from time to time, the 2019 playoffs. Like my stuff was
Yeah,
blown into billboards and a mural, and like I never expected any of that. And I was so young
sure.
um, for that particular role. And like, so then from time to time, they still use me, which I'm thankful for other stuff. And then, NC State, I do cover for them, but I also cover for Wake. One time, Duke had asked me to cover for them. I
Oh, that
have
I was going to bring that up. Yeah,
Boston, Brown, like a bunch of different teams that come in, they can ask me too. So I'm very neutral with everything. And I think
sure.
I'm thankful. I'm pretty sure my clients like that I'm neutral
Oh,
because
yeah.
I'm just like, oh, cool. Who won? Great. Yay, go team. Let's on to the next thing. So
Right, right.
I'm very like chill when it comes to like that type of thing. But yeah, so and then I do shoot for some, it could be a wire service, but also, I did sign with USA Today as well and
That's
Bauer Hockey.
awesome.
So you also have that, which I'm so thankful for. Again, like I said, Bauer Hockey, like you can shoot for a brand of that thing and then go and shoot a sporting event for a brand. So most people don't think about that either.
Right, right, for
So
sure.
yeah.
So I've got a, is it hard? So kind of a branch off question. Is it hard to
Okay.
remain neutral? Like I'm telling you, I would never be able to.
Yeah, no,
I'm
I can't. I'm
no.
sorry. If I saw,
If it
if I was going to MSG to take pictures or to MetLife, to
Yeah.
Meadowlands or something, I'm losing my mind. I'm losing my mind. I'm go
yeah,
Jets. I'm taking every picture, fucking Jets. Like,
yeah, yeah, for sure. Like it's
Um,
impossible for us. So is it hard? But I mean, we're like those crazy sports fans who show up in like their 20-degree weather, painting their chest, and we're pre-gaming since 8 a.m. Like admittedly, we are nuts. So is it hard to remain neutral in that? Or is it, I mean, is it pretty easy because it's your job and you're able to separate?
Hey, we love those people, by the way. They're the funnest fans to photograph as long as like you guys aren't too crazy with photographers. Like you guys are all our favorites. You keep us entertained during the games, I will say that.
Awesome.
So
hey, I'm
Awesome.
just trying to become a meme at some point.
my photography has become memes, so hey, we can work on that.
Awesome.
To stay neutral, I will say whenever we play a Minnesota team or somebody who was there from the beginning for me,
Sure.
I'm just like, oh, like but at the same time, I think the longer you are here, and I talked to some of the old guys about this too, like I said, a lot of males where I work,
Yeah.
but um with things that happen like during a game and or certain teams or anything like that, you become very like um just kind of like immune to it. I don't know how to explain it in the best way possible.
Sure.
So let's say your favorite team scores like or wins or anything of that nature. When you're in a media room, you can't really show favoritism, even if you are, you got to be respectful.
Sure.
And then obviously now that media rooms are very spaced out or anything of that nature, but makes it a little bit easier. But yeah, I just kind of like play it neutral. It also helps me personally because then I'm like, hi, I'm available because I'm freelance.
Sure.
So
Sure.
you just like I said, certain things that happen during games, once you've been in it long enough, you're kind of just like, okay, when's the next thing or something of that nature. Just like, okay, that's really cool, super cool, couple minutes, and then yeah. So you see it all. You hear it and see it all.
Oh, I'm sure.
You
I'm
don't get
sure.
shocked too much. There you go. You don't get shocked as often as you would think. When you've been in
Really?
it a long time. So yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now,
So it's kind of
uh,
easy.
obviously, when you first started, I mean, we don't know how huge of a sports fan you are. Maybe you just take the pictures, but meeting some of like these big names, especially when
Yeah.
you were even younger than you are now, like, and you grow up watching TV, like as you're working on your own craft, you're watching these guys, and then you're meeting some of these guys, like you said, like LeBron James, and maybe you've met even other names after him and stuff like that. Like, how, like, what kind of experience is that? Like, how is that? Like,
Yeah, so I do watch sports and pay attention, mainly for my job, just so I'm up to date on everything.
Sure.
To an extent, you can't pay attention to everything going on. So mainly I'll look into the region and see like what's coming or what's affected. We get emails and stuff like that, and updates as well. Um, but yeah, the first few years when I was doing this and I was surrounded by just some of the greats, it's been amazing. It was cool to see how they are behind like the game and like behind the scenes and see how their true character is.
mhm.
So, and everybody is completely different, and a
Oh,
lot of
for
people,
sure.
it just depends on the day for them too, and everything before
I
and
mean, they're
after,
still
and in the
human.
middle of the game, they're human, yeah. So I very much, the first few years, I was just kind of like shocked, but also, I'm a little girl, so I'm pretty quiet, so I just kind of like, they're big people half the time, half the people are bigger than me, so I just kind of like stay hidden and stay quiet. But then a lot of the times, like if they warm up to you or if you're around them 24 hours for like the entire day, like they'll warm up and talk to you. So you just kind
Sure.
of, it is really cool. It's a really humbling experience to be around some of these greats that worked as hard, just as hard as like everybody else next to them. And some of them worked
Sure.
twice as hard. So it definitely is different. But I just think of it as a humbling experience because not many people get that experience,
Oh,
especially
yeah,
right now
no. Yeah, for
especially
sure.
right now with everything. But yeah, I've definitely been around some amazing, and even like with NASCAR or anything of that nature, just like some of those racers and
Sure.
MLB athletes and NHL. They are also some of them are close to my age, so we're all human. So when they're close to your age, it's just kind of cool because you're just like same age as them, going through the same things in life.
Well, see, that's the crazy thing. You say that we interviewed NFL tight end Hakeem Vallis the other week.
Yeah,
And he's a young guy, he's younger than us as well. And he said actually he's about our age. And he said the same thing that he just nothing really starstruck him like two players because
no,
he grew up an Eagles fan. Are you just different breeds than us? Are you guys just
Yeah.
different humans? Because I can't imagine. Like I'm not gonna call you a liar, but I feel like you guys are lying to me because I would never be able,
Nope.
like, to stand in the presence of Robert Salah. We're huge Jets fans. Even Mark
yeah,
Sanchez, who I had a love-hate relationship with for years. To stand in the presence of any of these guys, like if I ever met like Hakeem in person or any NFL player, NBA, NHL, especially LeBron James, you want me to stand before a dude who causes the most
I'm
bar
sorry
fights
if
on the face of the planet over who's the GOAT. You want me to stand there and act cool? No. No, it's just
Hey,
not
if I
happening.
if
No.
I have to go to Yankee State, I'm sorry. Baseball is my biggest
that's
favorite
okay.
sport.
I do it all. I photograph it all. So go
Hugest
ahead.
Yankee fan. I'm still in New York. I go to Yankee games every season. Um, if you told me go to Yankee Stadium and stand next to Derek Jeter and take his photo, that ain't happening.
I'm gonna die.
I'm going to jail. I'm jumping on this man. I'm jumping on this man. I grew up 29 years watching this man complete every dream possible. Like,
yeah, you can have your. Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I'm not trying to call y'all liars because you're the second like professional to say this to me. But you're clearly a superior human being because I just would never. I wouldn't be able to conduct myself like a normal human. I know my limitations as a man.
You can have your freak out, just make it internal or do it after the game. Don't do it next to them or in front of them.
Fair enough.
For me, a lot of the stuff, a lot of people will say this too, is that none of the stuff really hits us until after the game. Okay. Where we're like going through and we're just like, oh, did that really just happen? Like, oh, that was kind of cool. Like,
right.
Hey. Like a lot of that stuff just doesn't hit us until like after, because, you know, you just kind of like you're zoning, you're there to work, you get it done. But
sure, I guess so.
You're next to some of these greats and it's just really cool. I just like seeing how they are like behind the scenes and the type of character they have. So that makes it 10 times more fun for me and very entertaining. So
I bet. So walk us through like the daily life of a sports photographer or just of a photographer of your level. You know, what does that look like?
Yeah.
Wake up to go to bed.
So I will say for the for the past 6+ years, I actually had a full-time job along with shooting on nights and weekends. So I would go to my full-time job and then, which I've been like a director of digital media. So I'm very thankful. I was also really young to have like higher up positions within sports, ironically.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So I've had that too with the graphics, you know, and the marketing and everything of that nature. But yeah, so I would go to the full-time job and then on nights and weekends, you know, you go to games. Well, once again, when I was younger, I always said that I want to be a full-time photographer. So I had finally taken that leap almost a year ago. So in the next couple weeks, it's actually going to be my like anniversary of me finally taking that leap. So thank you.
Congratulations. Good for you.
I took the leap during a pandemic. Yay. Did not plan that.
I get it.
So in March of last year, I decided that I wanted to go full-time photo, but then the world decided, you know, they just wanted to I told myself like I wanted to go remote with the graphics.
Sure.
And then the world decided to do the same. So I had to maneuver. So I had to maneuver that and, you know, maneuver where half of it's crazy to say, but just like everybody else, but like half of my jobs came to a halt. And I didn't really know what to do, but I also shoot brands and lifestyle. So it was just like trying to fill in those gaps. And actually some sports did reach out to me to do other stuff. So I was just thankful that they even did that.
That's awesome.
But yeah, for the most part, for me personally, you know, you work nights and weekends. So your day doesn't start till the evening probably.
Okay.
So if I have a studio shoot where athletics team or anybody, I guess brands too, but we'll talk sports wise. So if I have a studio shoot for like a school or anything of that, so that's where they need their headshots, but we're talking headshots like magazine crazy type headshots, not regular headshots.
Not high school picture headshots.
No. This is like I want all the lighting. Obviously this is my bedroom, but all the lighting and everything, like that type of headshots. Put together like all of that. That could be, you could start at 8 a.m. and you could get done at 5 p.m. or you start at 3 p.m. and you get done at 7. It depends on the team. Football, that's a 3-day shoot. We started at 6 a.m. So you can do that all day, but then keep in mind there's editing in the evening.
Sure.
And then because they want some sneak peeks, you got to like quickly edit some of those, add your own spices to them if you do, like filters or anything or presets, edits upon your own style. So that's kind of like a studio. And like I said, you would edit in the evening or when you're not there, but then you could be editing during the day and then going to a game. So walk through on a game day. Let's say the game is, you know, even if it's day or evening, you show up 2 to 3 hours. Right now with the pandemic, all of that has changed. But normally you would show up 2 to 3 hours before a game. Previous to that, I would already have all my files ready to go, depending on who I'm covering for, because every client is different. But for a lot of the time, most people don't know that is like after we're done, after like the first period or after a couple innings in like baseball or the halves and like football and basketball, we are like categorizing who they are, what player they are, what they just did, everything on that nature, and trying to send all those photos so
Oh
that
wow.
they're available worldwide or they're available for a client. So most people don't know that. So you prep your files way, way before, hours before the game. So you know
Mhm.
who's playing, who's not playing, who you're playing against. If there's a change when you show up, you got to get that ready too. You got to get your files, your Dropboxes, Google Drives. Not many people use those. Just like in general, that's the best way to explain it.
For
Um,
sure.
ready. So yeah, game day. You prep all your files before. Show up 2 to 3 hours ahead of time. Make sure your files are correct. Go get some pregame, some warm up stuff. Game time starts. You got to obviously, make sure you have all your camera gear stuff ready prior to travel, everything. And then game time starts, you know, you're photographing whatever your client needs. And then we usually leave, you know, a little bit before the halves or before the periods because we have to, like I said, categorize every image. And
Sure.
that's 2,000 photos on average. A lot of photographers, you take 2,000 photos like a period for hockey. So for
Jesus.
basketball, that's like 2,000 at the half. Some people have to do like, you know, women's is like there's quarters,
Sure.
but for men's you can try and do it after like the first media timeout and the second. Some people are allowed runners, but a lot of right now, you know, you're just doing it on your own. And I personally have done it on my own. This is the first year I actually had a runner.
Oh
So I had a
geez.
runner during a pandemic.
Right,
Um,
right. Ah,
yeah.
That's insane.
And so that's like, but normally you're just doing it by yourself. And then you do
Jesus.
all that. And then, you know, you have the half and you got to get everything sent. And then, you know, you might be a little late to like the next part, but that's okay because you had to get everything sent. Or unless you had a runner. And then at the end, you are there doing that again for 2 to 3 hours after.
I
Jesus.
gotta ask because it just popped in my head.
Go for it.
I we watch games all the time, and
Yeah.
it happens all the time where something happens, a player runs out of bounds, bumps into a photographer. Has it happened to you?
Yes. Um, that's the other thing when you were talking about like, oh man, meeting, you know, being around these people and never getting starstruck. The first thing that honestly comes into my brain, like, you know, the LeBron James or when Zion Williamson, when he was at Duke and
Sure.
everything on that nature is, I hope to God they don't run into me because that's like my
That's a
biggest.
freight train.
Yeah, because you know you have insurances on yourself, but you have it on your camera gear and your job, and so I that is my biggest fear all the time. And yes, it has happened,
Jeez.
and then it ends up on TV, and your parents see it, and they're already nervous for you, but your friends see it, and your friends turn it into memes and gifs, and because they think it's hilarious. So yeah, that does happen. But if you see me run away like a little girl, I'm sorry, I am going to do that, and I do not care.
Hey,
So there are videos of me running out, like not getting the photo, and everybody was like, "You looked funny, but like, good job for safety." And I was like, "Yeah, I don't care. It's
Yeah.
okay. You know, I
for
can get
sure.
it from a distance at that point." So
For sure. I'm a big man and I'm not gonna get hit by Zion or LeBron. Not gonna
yes,
happen. It's no, 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 no.
oh yes,
Especially
yeah,
on a
no,
football field, I'm not getting hit. If I don't have pads and a helmet, I'm not getting hit by a man with pads and a helmet.
Even if I
there's
did.
always this yes, there's always this joke with photographers, like because I've had, yeah, the football players, they'll come like screaming down the field. And then you
Sure.
know they're coming towards you. You know, I'm like, please don't throw it over here. But I know but like do because I want the photo. But like same time,
Sure.
I'm right here and I can't go back any further. And of course, you know, they do it. So then they throw it and you see it and you're just like holding it like away from your body and like running away. And the joke with photographers, they're like, why'd you move? And I was like, I still got the shot. I just moved away. Like, so yes. But some of the times, especially if you know the player, it's really funny after because then they'll be like, "Are you okay?" We're like, "Hi, Jaylynn." Like they'll say
Right.
hi.
That's
They're so
cool.
cute. So yeah, they'll
That's
say hi or
cool.
something like that. They're hilarious. But yes, it is a very scary thing, and that's my number one thing. When I meet those cool people, I'm just like, "Oh, just please be safe." I'll
Right,
try
right.
to. I get
That's
scared. So yeah.
that's awesome. That's awesome. All right, so we're running short on time, so I have one final question for you. And that is this is specifically for my younger sister Rita who wants to be a photographer.
Oh,
But
cool.
yes, she keeps putting herself down and feels like she can't do
Oh,
it and all of that stuff. So
no.
that's part of the inspiration for me having reached out to you is, hey, you know, you want to talk about women in sports, first of all, because I think that's fantastic. And I think
And
there
she's
needs to be
breaking
more.
barriers right now, being a female photographer. Like I'm just saying.
Exactly. And there
Thank
needs to be more of
you.
that. There needs to be more representation of that. And B, it looks cool, you know, to talk about the behind the scenes, the things that people don't normally see or don't normally think about. But this is mostly for Rita. So, what is one piece of advice that you would offer aspiring photographers? Like, what's that one like quintessential thing, you know, if you had to sum it all up or at least give one important piece of advice, because I'm sure there's hundreds of thousands, you know, that you would say to somebody who is standing
Wants to
there.
be in your shoes.
Exactly.
Um, there's obviously so much.
Sure.
One of the first things, I'll say two really quick and I'll try and get them really quick. One thing is don't take no for an answer. I know as crazy as that sounds, but no, it's honestly true. Like I said, you know, I started when I was 19 and I can't believe to even like say this, but like my work has been on like ESPN, Getty Images, Sports Illustrated, you know, all across the board, NHL, MLB, like billboards and magazines. But like if somebody would have told me that when I was younger, I wouldn't believe them, especially with how many people told me no, or like, you can't go do this, or like, you can't be our intern, or like, we're good. We don't need anybody right now. Like, don't take no for an answer because there's always another way around it, or that person can come back and need you.
Sure.
So that's one of the things because when you're doing reach outs and you're trying to be available or want clients, the other thing is, you know, network, always continue. And I'm still, you know, I'm still growing and learning. So always continue to grow and learn and network and communications and make those connections because while you're continuing to grow and learn in your craft, which is what I'm doing, as networks and communications and everything of that nature, they're going to come into handy as well because they'll see you grow. Because I've had clients who, when I was younger, there is no way that I would have been prepped to cover for them
Right.
that I am now. And that's only because I grew and learned and also I kept those connections because I'm still trying to get better.
That's
So
awesome.
just don't take no and just keep growing and learning.
That's
So,
awesome.
yeah.
Thank you so much, Jaylynn.
Thanks
One
for
more
having me, you
time.
guys.
Of course, of course. One more time for the fans, you know, let them know where to find you, and where to hopefully book you.
Yes. So you can, if you want to book me or anything of that nature, you can honestly just reach out my Instagram and or on my website. There's an email there. You can always reach out to that email as well. But my Instagram is at photography underscore by underscore Jaylynn. And then my TikTok is at Jaylynn Nash or it's at Jaylynn N. I can't remember. You see my face, you'll see my work. Best way to say that.
There you go.
And then I've been so busy that I haven't been able, I've had games like every single day, which I'm thankful for. And then
Don't
my
stress.
website is jaylynnash.com. So my first and last
Awesome.
name.
That is
Yeah,
awesome.
thank you.
That is
Happy
awesome.
birthday.
Thank you, and please, once again, for all our fans, look into her. She does great, amazing work, and I hope,
Yes.
well, we hope the absolute best for the rest of your career and endeavors and everything you're trying to reach and strive for.
Thank you. I still have a lot of goals I need to complete. So
That's
then
awesome. And we have the utmost faith that you'll get there.
thank you. And thanks. And I hope you guys have a wonderful day. And thanks again for reaching out. Reach out if you need anything else too.
Totally. We will keep contact and hopefully have you on again
In the future. Yes. Thank you so much for coming on. And we'll talk to you later.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye.